Good day, and I hope you're doing really well. I am. Finished a bunch of work here just a little while ago. I started early today. I got off early today so I could take my car to the local car dealership to get the oil change done for the new season, and also to get my winter tires off and get the summer tires on. So I'm all set for summer. Yay! And probably nowhere to go other than just around the patch here, but that's fine. It's been a pretty good couple of weeks here in PEI. Things have relaxed a bit. People are able to spend some time inside their houses with others, although they're supposed to still maintain distancing. I'm not sure how they police that, but I guess we're on the honor system. For the most part, out in public, things are going quite well. People, I think, I have it figured out. After a day or two ago, I went on a walk around downtown Charlottetown. It was very nice, very quiet, very pleasant. And just watching people in stores and around on the streets. I think if you're between the ages of 30 and maybe 75, we're good. Everybody in that age range seems to have it figured out. We understand what social distancing means. We see other people coming. We will move to one side. They'll move to one side, and everything's fine. If you're younger than 30, there's about a 50-50 chance you probably understand the social distancing, but you just don't care. So you'll just walk straight down the sidewalk and make everyone else get out of your way. And if you're over 75, you probably just can't process it properly. I'm lumping people in and I'm stereotyping people based on age. Yes, I am. Because that's what I'm seeing out there in the street. There's people who care and people who don't. And the people who care tend to be the ones who are alert, situationally aware of what's going on, and willing to help their fellow citizens by staying away, because that's what we're supposed to do. And thankfully, the vast majority of the people that are out and about there are in that 30 to 75 age range. There's some younger ones, but we just stay away from them, and they'll just go away. So that's my take on life right now. Started a new class at UPEI this week. It's a virtual class. It was always designed to be a virtual class. It doesn't have any in-person attendance requirement whatsoever. It's all done online. So I already uploaded my first video and an introduction to the class. It's UPEI 1930 is the name of the course, and it's essentially the creation of a business-type portfolio for yourself that will set you up for future employment perhaps, or promoting yourself or your products or your talents to the wider world. So it's a program that's designed to get us to identify assets, or what they call artifacts, to assemble those artifacts, to ponder those artifacts, to think on them, to ruminate, to construct them, to scan them, to create something that someone else could look at and decide whether you are worth their time. So actually should be a lot of fun. There's 38 or 39 or 42 people in the class. It's massive. I don't know how the instructor is going to keep track of it all, but that's not my problem. My problem is to just read what's due each week and upload it or do it and see what happens at the end of it all. But it's going to be kind of interesting. So that'll occupy my time when I'm not at work. Might do the odd video thing like this, but unless there's lots of developments in life, I probably won't think every day that I need to upload something, unless something interesting happens. And really, it hasn't been. I watch the news like everybody else. I follow what's going on in the political capitals of North America. Down in the States, I've been watching what's happening. I don't want to get political because there's good things and bad things about all sides, but it's just crazy down there. And there are states and places where things are really tough. Things aren't getting better. They're actually still getting worse, even though things are starting to open up. I don't know who's in charge of every particular event or every particular circumstance. In some cases, it'll be mayors. Some cases, it'll be governors. Some cases, it'll be a county commissioner, perhaps even a federal position, such as the president, the White House, or even the Congress might have to make certain decisions on things. I don't know. It's a bit of a free-for-all, which is the way the United States works. It's called the United States of America. They are 50 independent states in a way. They can all choose their own way of electing a president. They can choose their own dates for elections. There's not one federal mandate that has to be applied in all the states. As much as we look at the U.S. from outside the country and see it as one big 50-state globule of similarity, it really isn't. Canada has diversity among the provinces, but probably as much not as much diversity as the United States has among the states. Still in all, as much as I'm not sure which system I like the best, I love the USA. I love the people there because I think the people of the USA, 98% of them, and the 98% of the people of Canada, you could put them all in a mixer and divide them all out. You would not know who was who because we are basically the same gang. But basically, we're all in this together. Each country in the world has a different way of approaching things. Canada has done reasonably well. Quebec and Ontario and Alberta, maybe BC, and to some extent Nova Scotia, have faced more significant challenges than the rest of us. Nova Scotia is starting to turn the corner, and then of course New Brunswick is fine. PEI never had an overnight hospitalization due to COVID-19. We never had any ICU admissions. We have ventilators sitting there that have never been used and hopefully never will be used. So it's great. I've been watching a lot of UK news, and I have to say, I'm not sure that they've attacked this or approached this the right way. I'm a bit of a Boris Johnson fan, so I don't want to just blame it all on him, but I do think that they have not paid very much attention to what other places in the world are doing. For instance, I saw that just earlier this week, I think on Monday of this week, they were going to institute a system whereby anybody arriving by air had to self-quarantine for 14 days. Excuse me, we've been doing that for 2 months, and for the most part, we've almost shut our airspace down. There's a few scheduled flights here and there, and they go mostly empty. And when people do arrive, if they don't have a good reason to be here, they're put on the next plane out of here. We've already turned away people at the Charlottetown airport. They've arrived. They've been questioned as to what their purpose is of their visit. Do they live here? No. What are you doing here? Well, I'm here to maybe make a sales call or maybe visit relatives. And they're set aside. They're put into an isolation area, not under arrest, but confined in some way. And they're put into an isolation area, and then the next time there's a flight available, back on the plane, and away they go. People have crossed the bridge from New Brunswick, and they've been quizzed, and some of them have been turned back, and so away you go. So that's great. New Brunswick's doing the same thing. They've got checkpoints at every border entry, including with the United States along the Maine border, Quebec border, Nova Scotia border, and even at the other end of the bridge here from PEI. And they've been watching who's coming and going as well. New Brunswick and PEI are doing so well, and we're having a similar success rate that there is some talk about New Brunswick and PEI basically becoming a bubble. So if you're in PEI, you can visit in New Brunswick, and then you can come back home without worrying about having to self-isolate. And if you're in New Brunswick, you could come to PEI perhaps, and then go back home without having to worry about self-isolation. That's not in place yet, but it may be in place. They're talking about it. It might not be till maybe July. But if that does happen, I just noticed the camera is not behaving. I'll try to move it up a little bit. I'm not keen on the camera having a mind of its own and deciding to wander and look around almost anywhere. I'm more or less happy with the camera, but not thrilled with this feature of it. I tried to lock it, but it looks like it's still wandering. Does it follow me as I turn? I guess it's moving a little bit. Not thrilled. Anyway, New Brunswick has a pretty good success rate, and hopefully if they and us can agree on a way to do it, we might have to register people when they cross. We might have to maybe even get prior permission to go across, announce a date that we're going to return, things like that, because if we ever do have a problem, we're going to need to do contact tracing. We're going to need to figure out who contacted who, and especially if they develop symptoms later on or come back with a positive test. So yeah, that's all in the works and in the cards. So back to the UK, not really keen on how they're doing it. I know they have different jurisdictions as well. They have Northern Ireland, they have Wales, and they have Scotland, and they have England, of course. And it's not strictly a federal government initiative either for the isolation and all the anti-COVID measures that they're employing. I'm just going to do this. Try to move that a little bit more. There. Is that any better? Anyway, they seem to be a little slow off the mark. For instance, we're looking at some statistics the other day as to how many cases, how many deaths, how many recovered. For almost every country in the world, we have all three of those numbers. But for the UK, it's NA. They don't know who's recovered because they really don't know how many people ever got it. They have some confirmed cases, But they just don't really have they don't really have very comprehensive testing and tracking like other places do. Not that we're great, not that the United States is great, but we're better, I think, on the testing and the tracking. The UK seems to be not as seriously worried about it. I think that might come from the initial idea that we could solve this with herd immunity. We'll just wait till everybody gets it, and then those who don't die will probably be good. And that's how the human race has gone on for thousands of years, but probably it's not the best way to look after, especially our elderly, who are less resilient. But let's wait and see. I can't wait to get back to the UK, though. As soon as things lighten up over there, and as soon as the vaccine is out and I can get something shot into my bloodstream to try to handle this thing if it ever does touch me, I'm good to go. I can't wait to get back. I feel, since my visit a year ago, and that's almost exactly a year ago that we left to go over there, I feel very much belonging to the United Kingdom, particularly England and Scotland, which is where we went. We also want to do Wales on our next trip. I'm really crazy about the place, frankly, and I hope they do well. I watch BBC every day. I watch ITV every day. We watch certain British shows. We've become big Anglophiles, and I really hope that they come through this in better shape than it looks like they're going to come through it, but let's wait and see. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I know some people have left comments in the past reporting circumstances from their area. I'd love to read those. I do read all the comments because there's not that many, so it's great. So we're looking forward to a pretty quiet week, I hope, and hopefully you're looking forward to an uneventful week with yourselves and your families and your workplaces, wherever you may be. So that's the scoop from PEI Canada. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.